It seems like the messaging after this weekend is results, like regardless of what the result is, you're moving on. Why is that messaging important for this group, this version 8 team specifically after a weekend like this?
I think it's important because you can't change the past. It is what it is. So you take the lessons from it, you learn, you grow, and you take it into what's next. And so I think that's where we're at. Are we happy that we lost? No. Do we expect to win every game? We do. We had a couple bumps, a couple things didn't go our way. I think we had some things that if we could have handled a little bit better, but we just, the outcome is the outcome. So to me, how do you learn? How do you get better? How do you grow? And then you move into what's next.
As a coach, what were some of the biggest takeaways kind of from this weekend heading into another competitive series this weekend?
This lineup, I think, is very powerful throughout top to bottom. I think we've got a really deep pitching staff. We've got a really good defense. When you're playing, there's whether you're a top team, not top team, like the parity is just so much in softball nowadays that you've got to come in and you've got to be clean with what you do. I think that was probably our biggest takeaway, is that we just need to be clean with what we do. We just weren't clean enough, and that's where you see a couple of the stumbles. So
you talked to me a couple of weeks ago about what that last week was going to be and how much of a challenge it was going to be. Do you feel like the bumps and the hurdles, although probably you expected some to be along there, do you feel like they were within expectations, and where do you feel like this group can still grow after a weekend like last weekend?
What I would say is just some of the things that happened. I think we maybe were a little surprised that it happened, but then what I would say is that anytime we can get things right now and learn from it, I think it's just going to make us so much better. I talked to this group at the end of the weekend and said, not necessarily the outcome that we want, but I've been doing this for a long time, and I've had teams start off the first weekend and look just like you all, and they're standing at the Women's College World Series. So it's about learning from it, growing, having urgency, and I think for us, we all just cannot wait to play our next game.
Do you see a weekend like this past being kind of a tone setter? I know, again, it wasn't the start, but like, to know that you guys were in those games, through and through with Tennessee, with Louisiana, with Clemson, how much of that can be a moment that you feel like you guys can look back on and be like, we didn't get the result we wanted to, but we know that we can compete with the best, and if, we improve and we learn and we grow, we can take that next step. How much do you kind of relay that, or think that could be a spot in the season?
I think the biggest thing is that we always talk about like our expectation and what that looks like, and all of us agree that we did not meet our expectation. And so just that alone, we knew that we needed to come back, we needed to get things right, and then be ready to go into the next weekend.
Two bright spots in the pitching rotation. You've talked to me about Taylor and Maddie. Looked fantastic. Taylor obviously in her start, and Maddie in relief a couple times. Just what did you see from the two of them, and how important do you feel like they're going to be later on the season, considering what they showed in this first week of play for you guys?
Yeah, I think they're going to be really important. We need to have a deep staff. Last year we talked about having a deep staff, and I think this year it's deeper. Taylor looks like Taylor looked when she showed up in September. Taylor has been ready to go since she returned to campus. And just to see her be able to keep the ball down, change speeds, the fire that she has on the mound, she's such a competitor. It was just awesome to finally get to see her go up against another opponent. Maddie, as a freshman, like, she has the ability. She would not be here if she didn't. But sometimes you just need to get in the game and settle in and know that, the girls around you've got you, and do your thing. And I was just so proud of her that she came in and just pitched, just do what she can control and then let us take care of the rest.
Sticking with pitching, to watch Lindsay, obviously she had a great season last year, but to watch her in the first weekend throw a no-hitter against another really, really talented team, what was that like as a coach? Were you thinking of do you know it's a no-hitter? I know you're not supposed to speak about it until it happens, but right. What was your experience like with that, watching?
You could just see right from the start, she had great command. When she's really good, she throws her rise ball in 3 spots. She changes speeds, and then she also throws the ball down, and you could just see her constantly working ahead. She really understood what her game plan was, and she just applied it the whole game. There was one little spot where you could see her struggle just a little, and it was nice to see just like an in-game adjustment, and she was able to do that, and then she just continued right on. But she's another one. She's a competitor. She loves to be out there on the mound. She wants to do whatever she can for our team, and I was really excited to see her start the season off.
Do you have any updates on how Lindsay's doing after the play on the plate on Sunday morning?
Yes, she's doing good. She's good. She's available to go this weekend.
And just that's the sophomore class this year. They talked about version 7s of this one, now versions 8. How have you just kind of seen them as a group maybe grow in their leadership kind of throughout the off season, and maybe what would you like to see them maybe do more of, having the impact that they have at such still a young age as being sophomores?
Yes. Well, I love both version 7 and version 8 of KW and Rye. I love both. What's really cool is just to see them as such a young group and have such a major role in what we did last year. They were thrown into the fire and they handled it just fine. And just to watch them grow from the beginning of the year to the end was amazing to see. This year as version 8, they're a young, experienced group. And what I'm excited to see from them is that they don't need to change anything that they're doing. They just need to keep being them. What I'm excited to see is the leadership piece that they're going to bring. Last year, you're just, as freshmen, you show up, whatever they tell you to do, you do, and you play hard, and just that alone is a lot. So this year, to see them actually be able to have a bigger role, a leadership role. I mean, they were in it last year. They understand it. They've been in the biggest moments from last year's season. So share, with the others, share your experience, share your guidance, and lead.
Sorry, one of those players that kind of towards the end of the season and frankly in the World Series, it really felt like started to really find their own at the plate. How have you kind of seen that carry over from fall to the scrimmages and obviously in this opening week where she gets right out of the gates batting .400? She was on base 8 times and it really felt like she was a difference maker every time she was at the plate.
She's very comfortable in who she is. She knows exactly what she needs to do. She doesn't get too high or low about the previous at bat. She just, I think, really sticks to her process, trusts it, and just has a great eye at the plate. She knows exactly how she wants to go about it, and she's a competitor.
It was a strong start to the season for Ayanna, where she moved into the top of the lineup. Last year, she started the season in the lineup before an injury kind of moved her out of there. What do you think she was able to kind of learn from that adversity last season to take it into the start of this year, having that strong start?
It's amazing what adversity does to you. It's amazing when you get sidelined and the perspective that you get sitting on the bench while you're trying to heal, and you get to just see it from a different lens. And I think with Ayanna, she was able to do that, just to have to sit and watch a little bit, and then you get back in the game. And I think maybe some things that maybe you would get too worried about, you just don't. You just start to learn that, look, who knows if I could get hurt again, so I'm just going to go for it. Why would I kind of put the brakes on? I'm just going to go for it. And it was really nice to see her do what she can do. I've been watching Ayanna for a long time, and I'm so excited to get her to come to Oregon, because she's just unbelievable with the way she roams the outfield, how strong her arm is. I love her at the plate. She's able to power slap. She can soft slap. She can stand in and hit. She can bunt a ball. There's just so many different things that she can do. But on top of that, she's just a competitor. You cannot teach these guys to compete. You either have it or you don't. And she definitely has it. When the game, I don't think the game ever gets too big for her either. She thrives in being the one, just like K-Dub does, in that situation.
So who do you think is the biggest competitor?
Goodness. Oh, my gosh.
Who shows the most fire?
Most fire? K-Dub's pretty fiery. Steph's got tons of energy. They're just all different, but they are competitors. It's pretty cool to watch them when we're at practice, and they'll be going after our pitchers, and to see the conversations they have with each other. They talk the game a lot. They love the sport. I think that's what makes them the competitors that they are, is that they absolutely love playing softball. So
what do you want to see? You obviously saw what you saw from this last week. What do you want to see heading into this new series, this weekend, after watching the film and figuring out what you guys still need to learn and grow from? What are the goals for this week? What do you want to see happen?
I want to see us be us. And that is it. Nothing more, nothing less. I just want to see us play the game the way we know how to play the game.
Heading down to Stanford this weekend, where they just built a very nice new softball stadium. You guys obviously here have the Jane. Just what is the excitement around going to a new place like that, just in terms of the way the sport is continuing to grow?
I can't wait. I'm really excited to see their stadium. I look at every day that we get to come and play at the Jane, and for them to have the opportunity to have a stadium like that, it's amazing, the venues that are all over the country, and they should be. We should be every day going, whether it's home or away, we're playing in a beautiful stadium somewhere, and you're to see Stanford and the resources that they have and the support that they have for softball I just feel like exactly where it should be. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I've seen it on TV a little bit, but to see it in person, excited to do that.
And what do you think it just says about, softball as a sport in general and the growth that it's had for a big program like that, to see the investment in women's sports, specifically in softball?
Yeah, just that people want to watch women's sports. They want to watch softball, and they want to invest. So just the investment and the fact that people love to watch softball. I mean, that's why we do it. So just seeing that all around the country. You have the Portland Cascade that's coming here this summer, which is going to be great. I think we have such a wonderful fan base here in Oregon, and that they get to have that professional team in our own backyard. It's just going to be amazing what they're going to do this year. So I love it. I love all of it.
I heard Riley and Kate really emphasize, and you kind of alluded to it as well, the importance of being process-driven versus results-driven.
Mm-hmm.
As a coach, how do you go about imploring that in your athletes? That's a tough concept for anybody of any age to grasp, let alone a young athlete. So how do you go about doing that, and why is that important that your athletes have that perspective?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're just constantly driven by your results, you hit 300 and you're doing well, that's 3 out of 10. So I think to get caught up in numbers and results just doesn't really do what we're wanting to do. I think the ultimate goal is that we're at the plate and we have a plan, and it's about executing it and being free with our plans. That's it. And then from there, everything else should take care of itself. So there's a sport where you could come up and you could hit a ball, like you could smoke a ball and they catch it and it's an out, right? And you're over. You could get a jam shot and it drops in and you've got a hit, So it's just, I don't think it's about the results. I think it's about us understanding that this game is a game that we love to play, that we shouldn't have major stress with it. We should enjoy every bit of it, the highs, the lows, everything that goes along with it. But then also to just really get caught up in your preparation. If you are prepared, then go out and let your preparation lead the way.